it seems obvious that he was believed to be a single personality.
Okay, so definitely want to hop on this. So
Yeah,
this
definitely.
is pretty, I would say, one of, if not like his fundamental argument, is
Yeah.
that Deuteronomy 6:4 excludes a plurality of persons, and that Jesus agrees with Deuteronomy 6:4,
Mhm.
and so does the scribe, or the the Jew who responds to Jesus. So if he agrees with Deuteronomy 6:4, and Deuteronomy 6:4 excludes a plurality of persons, then Jesus must not believe in the Trinity.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a statement that the Trinity is false. I would have to say that that is definitely not true.
Yeah.
At the even like the singular personal pronouns here that are used would not disprove Trinitarian doctrine, because we agree that there is one God, and that you can refer to any person of the Trinity as a he. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this would be enough evidence to disprove it. But it's very interesting. So he mentioned this a little bit, but and he's going to mention it here in a moment. But just to kind of anticipate where he's going with this, it should be noted that like the Greek word here that is used for one is the Greek
on my
word.
notes here.
Oh, you have it? Okay, yeah. No, the Greek word that's used for one here is used in Mark 10:9, when Jesus says the two will become one, right?
Yeah.
The two will become one flesh. And this is also a similar thing with the Hebrew word. So the Hebrew word for one in the Shema is echad, and that same Hebrew word is also used in Genesis 2:24, where it says the two shall become one flesh, and it's also used in Genesis 11:6, where two people are working together. Right. So there's nothing in the term that would deny Trinitarian doctrine. And I have a quote here from Dr. Michael Brown. I said I would bring him up later. He says, actually, echad simply means one, exactly like how English word one. While it can refer to compound unity, it does not specifically refer to compound unity. On the other hand, echad certainly does not refer to the concept of absolute unity, the idea expressed most clearly in the 12th century by Moses Maimonides, who asserted that the Jewish people must believe that God is Yachad and only one. That's a different Hebrew word. He continues this as, in fact, there is not a single verse anywhere in the Bible that clearly or directly states that God is an absolute unity. And so I do think it's problematic. Also, to just belabor the point a little bit, Paul seems to put, a lot of people have argued that Paul seems to put Jesus in the Shema in 1 Corinthians 8. The language is very similar to the Shema. He's not quoting it directly, but it's very similar to it. He's clearly like alluding to the concept that's there, and he puts Jesus there. And so I do think it would be very unlikely that Jesus or the New Testament authors would understand things quite like he is asserting that they would in this video. A quick third point, there is Jewish recognition of Trinitarian facts. So Dr. Michael Brown also pointed this out, but if you look at the Targums are the Aramaic translations, and there's definitely some interpretation in additions in the Targums, but these were Aramaic translations of the Hebrew Bible, and they were used in the synagogues in the first century. So when for example in the Targum on Genesis, you might just as one example, you might read the phrase in Genesis 19, the Lord rained down fire and brimstone from the Lord out of heaven, right? So this is Yahweh rained down fire and brimstone from Yahweh out of heaven, right? You might read in the Targum, well, the word of the Lord rained down fire and brimstone from the word of the Lord out of heaven, or something like that. But there is definitely a recognition that of Trinitarian facts. And I would encourage you guys too to check out the mythology of Yahuel, Metatron, and Enoch. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, those three figures in some of their mythologies, at least, definitely like blur the line between exactly what is allowed and what is not in these sort of categories. This is why one Jewish biblical scholar, Nahum Sarna, said from several texts it is clear that the demarcation between God and his angels is very often blurred, and that's most definitely the case. I would actually argue in the Hebrew Bible with the references to the angel of the Lord, but also the references to Metatron, the word of the Lord, and how that phrase is used in the Jewish targums, as well as other things. But yeah, do you have anything that you would like to add to any of that?
I have like a little bit to add. You kind of stole some of my things here.
Not bad.
But the first thing I wanted to add is that there were other ideas that were very similar to Trinitarianism in Jewish thought. For example, in the Kabbalah, which is like the Sephirot, which I do have there. It's not the same thing, but it's a very similar idea. So it just shows that there were Jews out there who had were thinking about the Trinity, like not the Trinity, but thinking about God, and it came to a similar but not same idea of who God was. But that's pretty much it. I do also have that another example of where the Greek word for one is used as a compound unity in Galatians 3:28, where it says there can be neither Jew nor Greek, there can be neither bond nor free, there can be neither no male and female, for you are all one man in Christ Jesus. So it says that one, but it's referring to multiple people. But